Our group are together with family, and we'd like to play some melodies that we have come down to us, like everybody else remembers numbers, and we call it A Time to Remember. Somewhere like a song, there will be a time to remember, the music that years cannot erase.
Good morning. Exciting day. It's a long time coming. We're putting Quentin Alexander Nisson, better known as Mr. Washington, up, waving and welcoming the people to Washington. Quentin, he was once our mayor for 14 years, also the bishop. He raised the money with the community to build the addition of the chapel, and they started the Pie Ladies with Tail Turner. And the Pie Ladies are still going. We still sell pies. But they sold about 10,000 pies and raised money. He started the show, movies, outside movies, had the chuck wagon, sold hamburgers, had bingo, and anytime he had a celebration, like he was such a patriot. He was a veteran of World War II. Every 4th of July morning, he'd come around town serenading, shooting off his cannon, waking people up to come down to breakfast at 7 o'clock.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy 4th of July. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the unveiling of the Quentin Alexander Nisson statue. My name is Ed Tracy, President and CEO of the Washington Chamber of Commerce.
By the way, please give a huge round of applause to Carmen Snow, who
always puts this town first.
Today we are assembled here to salute a remarkable individual, Quentin Alexander Nisson, better known as Mr. Washington. In this temporary location, until the day his statue will be relocated to Nisson's Corner, where his store once stood. A condition and a promise made to the family when they sold their property to the city that they would honor their father's memory. We want to recognize Jerry Anderson and his wife Fawn, who is known across the state and nation for his amazing sculptures and art.
Well, I'm Jerry Anderson, sculptor. Anyway, that came about because of Carmen Snow wanted to bring about Quentin Nisson. The more I see the people and the relatives of Quentin, he's got a lot of backup that would like to see this monument. And I'm proud to be the one that sculpted it, and I want to thank all of those involved and all of the people that put up the money for it.
We're very grateful to you, Jerry. We knew he was the only one that could capture Quentin with the twinkle in his eyes, welcoming everyone back to town.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We're going to have the reading of the plaque by Nancy Staley McAllister, a lifelong resident of Washington and a retired librarian of Riverside Elementary.
Quentin Alexander Nisson, Mr. Washington, August 10th, 1918 to December 24th, 2016. The former mayor of Washington City for 14 years. 1950 through 1964. He and his wife Gwen purchased the Merc in 1946, also known as the Old Store, located right across the street on the corner of Telegraph and Main. There he touched the lives of many Washington City residents and arguably the lives of many Southern Utahns.
So for those of you who don't know about Quentin or what we call the old Merc or Nison's Mercantile, it was directly across the street where they have named it Quentin's Corner, and it's where the food trucks meet now. But there stood an old Mercantile store, and anybody they had groceries and hardware, and kind of the saying was, if Quentin doesn't have it, you don't need it, and that was true. I learned so many lessons from Quentin, but one of them was on integrity, and I stole some cinnamon toothpicks when I was younger, and it was like 5 cents, and my mom didn't say, oh, I'll go pay for it, which I have a great mom for that. She marched me back there to apologize to Mr. Nisson, Quentin, and I loved that man. And he said, oh, Sherry, I'm so disappointed in you. And it crushed my heart that he was disappointed. And so I got to sweep all the concrete in front of the store to learn my lesson. And I've never forgot that lesson of integrity and being honest. And that's who Quentin was. He was just a great, honest man. Since we've been working on this project, like you've heard, so many people have come forth with stories how he served them and served our community, and I think that's why this is so special to all of us, is because he deserves to be honored just like these historic pioneers. He was a pioneer in his era for our community, so we're very excited.
Best memory I have of Quentin is he taught me about honesty, because I was stealing silver dollars from my mom's silver dollar collection and going down and buying bubble gum with it when it was 25 cents a pack, and I was so happy I could go home with 4 packages of gum. But I think that Quentin caught on to me, because I think he told my mom about it, and then it hit the fan, and I ended up getting in trouble for it and learning about honesty and having to correct myself. But it was neat that Quentin helped me with that, and that he returned the silver dollars, I believe, to my parents and stuff. So, and that now they're worth lots of money. But anyhow, that's my best memory about Quentin and what he taught me. So
Quentin's motto was, if he didn't have it for you, he would find something better, and he did. He was a jewel.
I'd like to know how much he added on the bill when he passed away, when they quit the store. He would charge to anybody, anytime, anybody.
I mean, you know what he means by charge? You to put it on your bill. I never...
Charge account.
A charge account, and people just didn't pay him back. That's the kind of guy he was. If you went in there and you said, oh, I don't have enough money to pay for this, that's okay, you can come back and pay it later.
The painting that's in the program was done by my wife, Linda, who worked for him for years. You know, Quentin was the guy that if you came in and you needed food, he would make you a tab. And I'm sure he carried a lot of those tabs to his grave. He was that giving and caring about the people of Washington City. He loved this town. He loved these people.
I was on my horse, going up to the swimming hole, the warm springs, and behind me was my dog, old Shep. He was a collie, and I looked for cars to cross the highway. I crossed the highway, and I looked back, and just as a big Ringsby orange semi-truck came by and hit my dog right in front of Quentin's store. And as I turned around, I leaped off my horse and ran back across the street. Quentin had come out of his store and was there to hold me together. And somehow he had taken the time to call my dad. And it wasn't 4 minutes that my dad showed up and helped me through my first experience of death, even though it was an animal. And he helped me out.
I love Quentin Nisson. He was like our second father of our town. He took care of us in every aspect. We went to school here at the Washington Elementary, and he had his store over on the corner. And it wouldn't have been such a special school experience for us if we couldn't go across the street every day with our quarter and I bought a Reese's peanut butter cup. He provided each Christmas time, we would put on a Christmas play and Santa Claus would come. And every year, each child got a bag of candy and peanuts and hard candy and an orange. And it wasn't until after I was gone that I found out that it was Quentin Nisson that provided that for all of the students here in Washington.
My first job was 40 cents an hour working at the store, burning boxes. They didn't have a compactor for cardboard, so as a truck would come in, we would unload the truck off of the dock. This was a big old truck. Every Sunday night we'd all come and help unload the truck. But I had a big incinerator, and all those cardboard boxes, I had to throw them into this big incinerator, and they would burn, and that was my job for 40 cents an hour. And then one time the wind came up, and a little bit of ashes come out and got on the weeds and almost burned their house down. And that was a terrifying thing. I actually was so scared. My dad was the first fire chief here in town, just right over here. They had a little firehouse. And I went and hid under one of the cars right there behind the store where the workers would park, and heard the sirens come and the fire truck, and they put out the fire. But he didn't fire me. I kept the job.
First of all, I have to say I love Quentin, and I had no idea as a child how amazing he was until today, but I understand. I'm grateful for the leadership that I was taught in this little town and growing up here. I'm realizing what a gift and treasure that was. My funny story is, and I've never admitted it out loud, and I hope Sherry Smith does not get after me for throwing us under the bus, but we were in a baby food tasting club, and we would go to the back on the wall, and we would open a little jar of baby food and taste it. We'd just dip our pinkies in there and taste it, and then we'd shut the lid and put it back. And we'd do this. We did it for quite a while. I had no idea that was a wrong thing to do, and I hope we haven't hurt any children along the way. But most importantly, I'm just grateful for Quentin. He let us learn a lot of good lessons. I've watched other kids steal candy there, and I learned that wasn't good. I always felt bad that they would do that to Quentin because he was such a nice guy, but he was just a neat man. He let us have an account there, so we'd go down and get groceries and come back and let us pay our bill later. He was just a sweetheart, the way he kept it in his little drawer, the grocery accounts for all of us kids that were picking up stuff for our families and our moms and things like that. So cherish that man.
Just hopping into the store every day, off the bus, run to the store, get a treat, and he was always so friendly and nice.
I think just the creaky wood floors in that store, just walking in, and sometimes I'll go to different stores and they'll have those old creaky wooden floors, and it just brings me back to my childhood of a time when I'd walk in and I just had that, I don't know, I get chills right now thinking about it, those creaky wood floors, and just knowing you were in a place where you were wanted and loved and going to be welcomed, and that's how Quentin made you feel. He welcomed everybody in there, and everybody was treated with love and kindness, and you just knew it was good to be, a good place to be.
Quentin loved holidays, particularly the 4th of July. He shared that love and patriotism and brought the American spirit to the community.
We'd sleep out on the trampoline, and then we'd hear the cannon and hear his music, and that means summer's officially started.
But I also remember him going around on his flatbed in 4th of July when I was a kid, and we were sleeping out on the lawn, and him playing his music and waking us up at the crack of dawn. It was so funny.
4th of July, the year we moved in, all of a sudden we heard this cannon and then the band playing, and I thought, awesome, I'm in the right place.
We remember every 4th of July morning, and he and his sons and their band, and going around town and waking everybody up and shooting the cannon off, and that was just one of our family's favorite memories from the 4th of July. So he'll always have a soft spot in our heart. We loved Quentin and Gwen both.
He had music, loudspeakers on the store. The whole town would listen to music. July 4th, we'd wake up, he'd come with the band, play in the band. He had a lot of great music times when we used to dance. I loved dancing to his music.
Well, that pulpit over there was in the first chapel here in Washington. Quentin called me to go on a mission when he was the bishop, and I was a young man, and that's the pulpit that I stood before to give my farewell address when I left to go to Denmark. So today, I get to dedicate this memorial for Quentin. If I could, I would do it in Danish, but I can't still do it.
Dad was definitely kind of a legend
in town, and I feel like he loved the town with all his heart. I was talking to my sister Mary a little bit about Dad, and she brought up to me, I think, something that she had noticed about him when he got back from the war in about 1945, and he got married there day after Christmas, and it was kind of a wild day. And she noticed Dad, he seemed to have a profound sense that he had escaped death and injury, where so many had died. He says, I don't understand why I survived the war, but he had a profound desire to do all he could to improve the community. And I think that really took hold of him, where he really reached out in the community, wanted to do everything he could as he became mayor, later became bishop, and helped to build he was on the committee that helped to renovate and establish the new church. That he kind of helped to pull the community together, but he had so much support from the community. Everyone pitched in, sacrificed, and did all they could to make it a great place to live. And that's what I think he would say. Let's continue to make Washington a great place to live. We stand on the shoulders of so many before us, and let's continue to make it a wonderful place. And Dad loved this community, and I think that's what he would want me to say today, how much he loves Washington and how much he's enjoyed being part of this community.
First of all, I and the Nisson family want to thank Corman Iverson Snow, Sherry Lou Staley Tate, Dennis and Jerry Iverson, and the Memorial Committee and their spouses. They have all worked hard to make this happen. We also want to thank all of you for loving and your loving and generous donations. If it weren't for you and Corman, who spearheaded this great honor, this statue wouldn't be here today.
I can't say any more than all of you that are here that have supported him, and we'd sure appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was such a tremendous privilege growing up here in Washington with all of you who are like family. You treated us just like brothers and sisters and family members, and we're just so blessed. And I just can't say thank you enough to all of you.
So as children growing up at this schoolhouse, we would walk to Quentin's and we would buy candy at lunch, and he was so good to every one of us. Well, as a teacher at Washington, we adopted Quentin. My class got Quentin. Our kids donated money for every one of those quilt squares. We had a jar with his picture, and he came to my classroom, and he brought a flag. I won't tell you what flag it was, but it was red, and it had some things on it. It was from the Battle of the Bulge. And he told my class how he survived all this and how blessed he was, just like they had just said. And he instilled in these kids, they just kept bringing quarters and dollars and put them in the jar. And as fast as I could stitch and as fast as Bert could buy the fabric, we put together this quilt. Well, when we heard we needed something else over Quentin to make him more comfortable and warm because it wasn't warm enough, this quilt surfaced. Bert brought it by, all washed and pretty. And we decided to put all the little stitch side on because he really stitched this community together with love and hearts and happiness. And we will always forever treasure what Quentin did for us as little children and as adults. And you that are new to the community, you will never know what this man did. And as Stan Snow said, this is the only statue that really deserves to be here in Washington. But really, we love everybody. So that's the 60-second short story. That's why there's that quilt, and there might be something else under it.
I learned about Quentin, his background as far as D-Day, and he was one to speak to about getting ready to deploy to Iraq as a battalion commander for the Triple Deuce. And just very thoughtful and considerate, but he showed truly what a gentle man is and what a real man is, and how he was always taking care of people and always watched over this community. And everything I ever saw, he gave his all.
One of the things that I remember about Quentin is his always happy, never ever had anything but a smile on his face.
Probably his positive, uplifting attitude. He was just a friend to everybody and just so nice. And Grandma was the same way. She was wonderful. In fact, Bob was going to say, but he didn't include that Gwen, my mother-in-law, was the wind beneath Quentin's wings, and how she supported him and all the donated time that he put in for this town that he loved.
he was just, everybody in the whole town just loved Quentin, you know. I don't think he had an enemy in the world. Everybody loved him to death, and what a beautiful memorial we've had. Thank you guys so much.
Benton Iverson, who shot off the last cannon for Quentin, will now give us a cannon salute.
We looked down on the concrete and we saw the lions, and we both knew for sure this was the place because Quentin was such a huge part of all the events, but the Lions Club in Washington City is too, and so this was our sign. The Lions was our sign, and we feel like this is such a fitting place. It fit. The city's been really great, Anita Millette, to get these flowers planted, and we're just so excited. This is going to be the greatest to have Quentin, Mr. Washington, welcoming everybody to our community.
This memorial bronze statue, conceived and paid for by individuals who grew up and lived in Washington, and grateful for the service and talents that Quentin Nisson so willingly installed and shared with our community and made it what it is today. A community of love, welcoming, looking out for others, and giving back. His favorite saying, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you."